Today I want to talk about the Trump scandals just in the month of May. So just this month alone. Now, some of these scandals are actually scandals within scandals.
You got scams you haven't even dreamed of. Kickbacks on us, kickbacks. It's a river of dirty money running through this place.
But let's start with number 10. This involves the potential mergers between Paramount, Warner Brothers, and Netflix, all contenders for a mega merger in the entertainment industry. The broader scandal you knew about already, and that is that the Trump administration was leveraging these players, and in particular Paramount, in order to get approval or favoritism in a merger proposal, that they changed the content at CNN, just as they earlier leveraged Paramount CBS to change the content at CBS. Tragically, that has already happened, and we've seen now the immolation of 60 Minutes. So that's the broader scandal, but the scandal within the scandal we learned about just in the month of May is that while this was all going on, Trump bought stock in all three companies. He bought stock in Paramount, he bought stock in Netflix, he bought stock in Warner Brothers. So he bought stock in these companies right when his administration and he personally, as he told the public, was going to be involved in deciding who the winners and losers were going to be.
Netflix is a great company, and they've done a phenomenal job. They have a very big market share. And when they have Warner Brothers, that share goes up a lot. So I don't know. That's going to be for some economists to tell. And I'll be involved in that decision too.
Very concerning evidence of potential insider trading. Number 9. Now, these entertainment companies were not the only stock purchases by Donald Trump, because we also learned in the month of May that he made a major investment in the defense contractor Palantir. So number 9, purchases of hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of stock in Palantir, and at the same time using his presidential megaphone to promote, you got it, Palantir. Here's Trump on Truth Social posting at a time when Palantir's stock was in distress. Palantir Technologies has proven to have great warfighting capabilities and equipment. Just ask our enemies. He might have said, just ask our shareholders, including himself. In addition to promoting Palantir in social media, Palantir was also winning major government contracts. All of this, in any other normal administration, big scandal. Number 8, Donald Trump buys a bunch of stock in Oracle around the same time he announces a deal in which Oracle, among others, acquires TikTok. So another investment, very well timed to coincide with the administration's effort to steer this deal to Oracle. Number 8 scandal. Number 7, last month the president headed off to China on Air Force One, accompanied by executives from Boeing and NVIDIA, two major American companies.
Weeks ahead of the trip, they went to a number of agencies and said, what kind of companies should we be inviting with us? And obviously, the names that rise to the top are companies that the administration wants selling items into China, China being purchasers of these items. This is why the Boeing CEO is here. This is why the Cargill CEO is here. When it comes to soybeans, beef, Boeing jets. The fact that Jensen Huang is now on this trip adds some tension potentially to what is on the table when it comes to semiconductors.
And it just so happens that Trump bought a bunch of stock in Boeing, millions of dollars worth of stock, in fact. And while on his trip to China, he announced that he had reached an agreement with China to buy 200 Boeing aircraft. Well, isn't that a happy coincidence right after this major purchase of stock by the president? But coming in at number 6 is the purchase of massive amounts of NVIDIA stock. This coincides with the president deciding to allow NVIDIA to export advanced chips, NVIDIA chips, to China, something very lucrative for NVIDIA, but something that our national security experts cautioned against because they fear that it would give China a leg up in the race to develop AI. So once again, it appears that the national interest, the national security interest of the country in preventing this high technology from getting to China to make it a more effective competitor in the AI space gave way to Trump's interest in NVIDIA and his own stock purchase in NVIDIA. We need to put an end to this stock trading by presidents and vice presidents, by members of Congress. We should have a ban on this. I have co-sponsored legislation to ban this, and it is well past time, and these are some profound examples of why such legislation is necessary. Coming in at number 5 of the Trump scandals in the month of May, you have this: Trump's triumphal arch. This boondoggle monument to himself, which would be built on Memorial Circle, is in violation of the law. At that location, the law requires that any monument be approved by Congress. This has not been approved by Congress, but the Trump administration is claiming that a report from 1925 somehow gives him permission to ignore the law.
Right.
That report from 1925 authorized funding for the bridge, not for a triumphal arch to come a century later. So this is in violation of the law, another scandal for the Trump administration. It's also, by the way, opposed by veterans groups because it will block views of Arlington National Cemetery. But then again, as the president made clear years ago, he considers people that were buried at Arlington to be suckers and losers for exposing their lives to such risk in service of the country. So what does he care what the veterans think? Number 4 of the Trump scandals in the month of May are these secret no-bid contracts, these special lucrative deals for contractors working on projects around the White House and the National Mall. So there's this fountain. The original price for work on this fountain was $3.3 million, but in a secret no-bid contract, the contractor for this job is getting to charge $17 million for the repair of this fountain. And then there's the reflecting pool, the painting it blue for the 250th anniversary. That non-competitive bid is going to allow the contractor there to make a whopping 20% profit when a normal profit might be 6 or 12%. So another sweetheart deal for another favorite contractor by Donald Trump coming out of your pocket, the taxpayers. And then there's this: $5 million to gold plate these horses, to paint these statues in a thick coat of gold, thicker than usual coat of gold. $5 million. Well, people can't afford to put gas in their car, when they can't afford their groceries, when they can't afford their medicine, Donald Trump is fine using $5 million to paint a couple horses in gold. It is a contract that went to a gilding company that gilds things in gold, and how befitting for the gilded age of Donald Trump. Which brings me to number 3, and that is the $1 billion ballroom. This was a ballroom, first of all, that required the demolition of the East Wing. That was something President Trump said he would never do. He wouldn't touch the White House. And then the project, which he also said would be privately funded, is going to cost taxpayers $1 billion. $1 billion scandal here. Such a big scandal, in fact, that even Republicans, as we vote today in this vote-a-rama on this $70 billion for ICE and Border Patrol, even the Republicans were willing to take out the ballroom funding the president wanted in there because it's such a scandal. Instead, we've got some private donors, murky corporate donors that are not disclosed, paying for some stuff, but taxpayers on the hook for $1 billion. Here's Trump talking in the month of May about something that is far more important to him than those boring peace talks over the war in Iran.
It's deep. That's big stuff. Normally, when you build a ballroom, you build it flat. You just build a ballroom. It would have been built. The complexity of this, and again, it's all knit. It's all knit together.
Number 2 in the scandals in the month of May is this secret tax deal that Trump's criminal defense lawyer, Todd Blanche, who also masquerades or moonlights as the Attorney General, signed himself, approving a settlement in which, after the president sued the IRS, the Attorney General says, we're going to settle the case, and we're going to do so basically giving the president, his family, all his businesses, a tax-free, get-out-of-jail-free card. That is, no audits of any of his prior tax dealings, a deal that might be worth $100 million. Because if Donald Trump fraudulently claimed $100 million in tax deductions, The government has a right to claw that back. Well, that audit now magically goes away in one of the most brazen acts of self-dealing corruption. That is number two, this fake, phony, self-dealing negotiation between Trump and Trump as negotiated by Todd Blanche, the man who would be our Attorney General, comes in number two scandal. Which leads us to the number one scandal of the month of May.
The Justice Department said today it's creating a nearly $1.8 billion fund that could compensate Trump supporters who say they were wrongly investigated or prosecuted by previous administrations.
The announcement came as part of a settlement with President Trump to drop a $10 billion lawsuit he filed against the IRS over the leak of his tax returns in 2019.
A odious idea that one Republican described as politically stupid or morally bankrupt, you pick your choice, or words to that effect. It is both. It is just the most reprehensible, brazen act of corruption I think we have seen in an administration that has exceeded all other standards for corruption. We are fighting this today. I have an amendment to defund the slush fund and make sure that it is never resurrected, because even as the Attorney General testified that this thing was over, the slush fund was dead, here he is.
We've heard from both Republicans and Democrats, constituents and Americans across the country about this fund, and I think they would love to be reassured that this fund will not progress.
I'm telling you it's not.
The president at the same time claims he loves the idea. He hasn't given up on the idea.
Yeah, of course, of course. The anti-weaponization fund, have you dropped that?
No, a court ruled against it.
Yeah.
But just so you understand, these are people that have been decimated. These are people that lost their lives over nonsense, where the FBI said, go in, police, go into the... And they were supposed to serve 5 years, 10 years in jail. People committed suicide. People were treated, there's never been anything like this. What happened to those people? And these were many great people. And I gave them pardons. I'm very proud to have given them pardons. And I think they should be reimbursed for a crooked government.
Well, today we're going to have an opportunity to make sure that this scandal ends definitively with Congress saying no slush fund, none, not now, not ever. Hey, everybody. We do these nightly videos to keep you informed of some of the important things happening in the nation's capital. If you have comments, please submit them below, and we're going to do some special videos just to answer your questions. And while you're at it, hit subscribe. Thanks again for watching.